I was,
Yeah, and we were in.
I can hear you, Toby.
You couldn't hear us because we were muted, but we
Muted.
hear you.
Okay.
okay, we'll call this meeting to order. And first order of business is to approve minutes, April 17th, 24th, 29th, and May 14th.
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion?
it was well done, I will say that.
For so many,
Mhm. I was, yeah,
quite a preponderance of minutes.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Department head reports. Well, let's see. Code enforcement straight here on top.
Right.
So. What do you got, Tim?
Well,
Anything to add,
let's
or-
see, like 36 permits this year, this month.
Wow.
Those are picking up, quite a bit of, activity. You see fire safety inspection at, Cascade for the diner.
Are they ready to open or?
Well, not quite. They still need the health department's, actually, they need me, to sign off on the fire safety inspection.
Yeah, okay,
And then the health department can't do anything until I approve them.
okay,
And as you see, there's like 21 deficiencies there that they have to remedy.
okay,
And then violations, we had that Beta House fire get out of hand there.
uh-huh,
I cited St. Lawrence, I cited Beta House through St. Lawrence. And that's about it. I'm finally finished with my training for Civic Plus.
oh. Okay,
And that's about it. Anybody got any questions on my report?
Lots of tents.
Lots of tents.
Yeah. Sign of the
Yeah,
times.
that's next week.
okay, well, thank you, let's see. Where do I wanna go here? How about? Let's see, the dog report for. This month, yeah, nothing. Well, you know, that's the first time.
He had a
He's been-
report.
He had a report though.
It's pretty good.
Okay, we did that, let's see, what's this one? Golf reporter, he's not here. I don't know what you've heard down there, things going along okay?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard anything from Karen. That's the no news is good news.
Yeah, I probably need to follow up with her on that. Thing she texted me about, but I think we're good.
Superintendent, I know Tim was on his way back, he was, at a conference. I didn't know if he was gonna make it back in time. But you have his report. There's been a little activity, there's been a couple of sewer problems. I don't know, did they fix the one up on Judson?
I haven't heard anything from Tim, but I think that they have fixed that.
Okay.
I think there's some back and forth, so.
Okay. They have another one down on Riverside Drive, it's, Deep Root Center, they're
Mhm.
having trouble, so they're trying to figure out how they're gonna do that, you know. Because they don't have any money to do that.
Where's this again?
Deep Root Center, 48, I think it's 48 Riverside Drive.
It's one way up on the hill.
It's
It's a house that's
educational.
back up, it's,
Yeah.
you know, they opened a small school.
Right before Prospect.
It's an alternative school
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking.
environment. Right.
Enrichment. Enrichment. Wouldn't say it's more like isn't it more like enhancement, additional schooling
I don't know.
than strictly? I don't know.
Recreation report, she's not here, she's got a few days off. I think she's gone through the weekend.
Now's a good time for that.
Anything to add to
Mark?
rec?
Don't go in.
I asked her about, swimming lessons are gonna be up at SUNY camp
Yes.
this year.
For
Yeah,
the same
that is-
cost, that's.
Same cost.
Very
Yeah.
nice that they worked that out.
Yeah.
For the
They
same
were-
cost.
Yeah.
They got some issues with the pool, get the pool up and running, I guess.
Yep.
They're just delayed a little bit. So,
They got a little issue, I guess.
you might know more than me. Whatever.
I'm seeing the advertisements for all the summer programming rolling out, so that's pretty exciting.
Yep.
Mhm.
Volleyball and tennis and
Mhm.
a bunch of stuff, so that's great.
Village clerk? Anything to add to
I
your?
did have one thing to add. I put it in the packet. I did not add it to my report. It's the standard workday resolution for John. He did his time study. And so
It's in the packet.
it's in the packet,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
So the board needs to approve that and then I start posting it for 30 days tomorrow.
yeah, I did one, I started, well, I've got it mostly done, and I need to give mine to you. Try to update it once in a while. What else do we have? Economic development. Hi,
Hi.
I know you've been busy.
No, not at all.
No,
You have my report, I was just looking for it. Pulled up, but, the CFAs have been announced, they're due on July 31st.
At 3:58.
Yeah, not 4 o'clock. Went to a workshop at St. Lawrence today on that, have some thoughts. I did ask Kylie, Peck was there, and I asked if we should be also applying for CFAs. Said, well, you can. Sure, go ahead.
okay,
It would just make the New York Forward money go further.
okay,
If some of those projects were funded, but, so we did learn some things about, the programs, today and started thinking, Barb was there too, and Jenny and I just started to think a bit about, what we might wanna do.
Are you in Evan?
Uh,
No, the Legends of Appleton.
New York Forward,
yeah, well, he was added to the, LPC,
the core.
the core group, yeah.
That makes, I mean, that should have been there from the beginning,
Well,
but anyway.
that's easier said than done.
Yes, I know, so I'm glad that it's been rectified.
You go along with the way they wanted it and then,
Tweak.
yep, so she's been added to that.
That's all.
So yeah, there's a first public session is going to be May 30th from 6 to 8.
Mhm.
Please come if you can, tell everybody about it, to come.
Thursday?
It's a Thursday
Yes.
evening, yep, and that day they will be here in the afternoon doing stakeholder meetings. With various stakeholder groups and,
They will be meeting with, department heads and things like that too.
That's great. Unfortunately.
and then Friday morning, they're having, coffee with the consultants from 10 to 12, which is sort of an open office hours. For anyone to drop in and ask questions, potential project sponsors could have a one-on-one opportunity to talk about their potential projects. Then from there, the next LPC meeting, local planning committee meeting is on June 25th, and we expect that the call for projects will go out right after that. So probably June 26th and be open till July 31st. So that is what's going on there. Other stuff. We extended the RFP, as you know, for Midtown Plaza. We've been getting some interest in that. What else is going on? Willow Island is almost done.
Fun to see the project.
Looks good. It does.
We got all the supplies and everything ordered for the archway. They are with the artist.
Yay,
That's exciting.
Okay,
really exciting.
sounds good.
We're
Anything else?
wrapping up the CDBG CARES grant. We have to submit all of our reimbursement requests by May 30th, so we'll be wrapping that up next month. Haven't heard any more about an extension or anything like that, so.
Okay.
Did you go to the housing?
Who's on?
Cindy's there.
Okay.
Linda's not going to be here tonight.
Anything else for Lee? Thanks, Lee. Assessor, Cindy.
Hi, good evening. It's been pretty quiet. Been waiting for, people to call about the change of assessment notices. That went out at the last week in April. And I sat with the roll the other night from 4 to 8 and no one came. And I have to sit with the roll, on this Saturday and, from 9 to 1. As far as our bar is concerned, we're down to 4 people on our bar and there's an open position next year. And probably gonna be 2 open positions, next year for our bar. That someone else gave notice and we'll find out if they're gonna stay on or not. We did get a final 72% triangulation rate that came through the state. That's our final number. And you all know the school is gonna have a school tax rate that's going up of 6.5%. And also our exemptions, I put in my report, the basic and the enhanced star exemptions have dropped. The enhanced dropped to 62.3 and the basic now dropped to 22,960. So the people in the school district will definitely feel an impact on their school tax bill this coming September. Anybody having, that's about it. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I guess not. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Cindy.
Chief.
Just a couple of quick things. This, Dairy Princess Parade, we're gonna be closing off Park Street Friday evening, so they can use that for the big wheel races and some other activities. And we're gonna just leave it closed off for the night and through the next morning. It'll make it a lot easier. Already talked to the fire chief and everybody's aware of it, so should be good that way.
What time on Friday?
About probably close to 4,
Okay.
3:30, 4 o'clock. Chamber of Commerce is also reaching out to like Dr. Healy's office and some of the others just to give them a heads up, and we don't like tow their cars away. We just try to, as they leave, we just try to not let anybody else come in. The other thing is we had, some, items at our impound that were ready for auction that we're donating to the recreation, which is about 15 bicycles, which are varying niceness, I guess is a good way to say it. We have 1 canoe and 1 paddleboard that we're donating, so they can auction it.
They're having their sale
It's
of
coming up.
equipment in June,
Yep.
15th,
So, yep.
I think,
They're
so,
coming to get everything next week sometime.
great.
The other last thing is we're gonna be up for reaccreditation. I just found out today sometime in October.
Okay.
So we'll be having Albany crawling all over us for about 3 days, so if I had hair, it would completely be gray. That's all I have, unless you have a question.
I'm sure we're in good shape.
Right.
I'm out.
Fairly smooth graduation weekends.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
Must have been a mellow class.
I think that they were preemptive messaging.
Good. Well, I mean, just as someone who's on the migration path, it was not particularly onerous.
Yeah.
Go back and forth.
It was a much quieter senior.
Isn't it in?
No, it's not on the agenda.
Oh, okay. But it's in the packet for.
Several people. Get back to campus in my yard.
Thank you.
talking about,
Oh, that.
Even though it's fenced.
Any other questions for the chief? Okay,
Here's summer.
treasurer's report is in there. She is not here. Who did I miss? Oh, historian, she's not here either.
Right.
And,
Tim, Megan and Linda are not here, so.
okay, so I think that's it. Need a motion to accept department head reports?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
hi,
Anyone opposed? Old business. Well, we'll start with 64 Main, it's still standing.
Tell me,
I did get the report, I think today, on the asbestos. I have to get a report back about how the asbestos, remediation went. I got that today. I don't know, Tim's been in touch with what's gonna happen on the tear down, and they'll give us a little notice, but it's coming. When, I can't tell you, so.
So when they take it down, what kind of perimeter will they put? Or will they,
Well,
What kind of what?
perimeter?
we gotta talk, well, they'll take it down and, you know, it'll be,
Right, but when they're clearing the site, will they have, what kind of barrier?
they'll probably
perimeter?
put fencing up around it, and
Okay.
that's gonna come down pretty quick, so I don't know
I'm
if
sure.
it'll be. How quick it'll happen, but, they'll have to put protection up,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Ribbon cutting. I'm telling you.
But we have to discuss where we're headed with that.
You know, window breaking.
That's, something that the committee has to talk about, and then the gang of 10 has to decide. I think that's one of the things for the agenda,
On the 26th.
so, at any rate. That's what's going on there, 19 Minor Street, where Lee already reported that we did extend the RFPs on that. There's been some interest in that, a couple needed a little more time to put something together, so. We gave them that, but we're also gotta fit that into the New York Forward program so that it's available for people to give us a proposal. New York Forward, I think you heard most of what was going on by Lee. We meet every other week. There's a core group that meets every other week, and the local planning committee will meet once a month. You know, the big rollout is, or the big community thing is on the 30th and the 31st. So I've reserved both upstairs and downstairs all day Thursday, just have us covered, and then all day for half the day Friday. So please show up, happy to have you, you know, participate. You can go to the New York Forward website. There are little business cards here that will take you there. So, you know, if you wanna pass them out or grab one, I will tell you, the logo has been changed.
Yes, it.
Yes, there was some question about the logo.
Consternation.
Well, it was brought to someone's attention that maybe they should have talked to us first. So if you go on the website, you'll see the new logos up there.
I'm going there right now.
I unfortunately will not be able to participate because I will be in
Come to a meeting later.
Boston.
That's fine.
When is the meeting?
The 30th. It's the public public
forum,
meeting,
so.
public forum, so. But we, if you went to that website, the logo has changed, so.
See, happens to me every time.
Um,
Doesn't let you through?
So there, it's gonna be a
See,
setting on your
unblocked
computer
too.
though.
really?
Unlocked too. Yep, I can't get it to
Oh,
through my
I
phone or
couldn't.
my computer.
Would you like to see?
We
I
looked it
do
up
want
today.
to see.
I looked it up today.
Much better.
I can do it.
Got moved.
So the difference between the is. What am I at?
With a sun.
Oh,
Was
that's
the-
because I didn't see that logo. That's
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm like, what's different?
Because,
It wasn't.
yeah,
Okay.
because the flyers for the events and everything had already been produced, so that's why there's two.
Right,
This is
no,
the new one though.
perfect.
Did you put an, oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's very nice.
So
So-
that makes me think it's a setting.
Yeah.
On your computer.
So we, you
Are
know,
Oh.
I gave them a copy of our pin, they made some adjustments.
Yeah.
So. We didn't want anybody triggered,
Sorry.
so. One of them inside jokes. Any questions on that? It's gonna move fast, there'll be a lot happening, so there's no grass growing under anybody's feet on this thing.
No
I'll tell
kidding.
you.
That's not typical for government.
Well, I'll tell you, it's being driven, so. You had included, the, information from, Barton LaJudas. And where they stand, it was, dated the fifteenth of May, but, this is the first chance we've had to take a look at it, so. They are making progress. And,
We're paying,
we've also been, huh?
and we're paying the bills to show it.
And we're paying the bills to show it.
I feel like they're with them.
But we've also been, doing the EFC side of things. So we're hoping that we'll get, permanent, the financing that will get rid of the van
Yeah.
and get us into financing that is 0% interest. So, that's moving forward. One item I needed to add to old business, was the cell tower. We talked about that, a few months ago. I've had contact with them. I will give, Scott what I have in this packet. Sally pulled out the original, contract,
Right, it's for one of the towers, the water towers.
one of the water towers, yeah. And I've had contact with T-Mobile. In here, as you read it, they're not looking to change the terms of the original contract. They just want to extend it using the terms that are in there. So the payment that's in there, the terms of those payment, the 3% increase annually, would stand. He said he'd be more than happy to add, a specific language to state that, if that would make us feel more comfortable. Other than that, that's what I have to share. He's looking for an update, and so I wanted to bring that to the board. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't, continue to move forward on. It's a nice income stream for us. I don't know where we're at on a monthly payment right now, but it's a couple $1,000.
Yeah, it's around $2,300.
So it's a nice little payment for
Adds
sitting on top of our, cell tower. So I will have him produce something in there that states about, specifically about the payment. And then I'll get it back to you.
Sure.
Okay.
So the percentage increase is the same that it's been for the last, that's what they're looking for? So,
What they're saying is that the contract originally negotiated will remain in force in terms of the percent increases. Which is, in line with everything else we've done. Actually, they are higher than just about everybody else. We've done very well with them.
So there's an escalator built into the original contract.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're just following that.
And we're just
continuing
following
that.
along, and they want to continue following along.
Sounds good.
That was the intent. He said in some contracts, they have added the language just to make sure it was very clear. So I think that,
Always good.
clarity would be
clarity's good.
in our best interest.
Always good.
So that's the update on that. Okay, new business. I need a motion to authorize payment of vouchers and transfer of funds.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for all the bills.
Well. She had a stack this month.
Oh, yeah, this
Mhm.
was a
This
big,
is a big one.
Well, everyone's gonna get them in, right? It's very edifying to look through them, I think.
well, get an understanding of what's going on,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
No, it's very.
You don't realize how much money has to move to keep the place going, so. Next item is to approve golf course part-time hire at James Hennessy.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The next one is the MOA with the DPW, CSEA. They approved that, negotiations, Anna worked with me and Matt, negotiations with them. And, there was gains for everybody. Decent salary gains, but at the same time, we got, every year 1% in healthcare increases, so that was a big change for us. So we keep moving that to where our goal is to have it at 20%. contribution, and so we're very close.
Yeah,
It's a good way to do it.
Anything to add to?
well, just I would say too, I think we were able to address some of their concerns, sort of like quality of life, work
Conditions.
life.
Yeah.
You know, moving things around in ways that, you know, make it easier for them to use their time and that sort of
Right.
thing,
Yes.
so. I thought, you know, able to get at some of the things they were looking for, but
And that's
sort of
good.
improve.
That's a good faith
Yeah,
effort.
exactly, exactly,
It's
so.
important.
Well, that was your first run at, doing something like that, so, you have any other questions about that? The MOA is out there in front of you, if there was anything that you wanted to ask. If not, I need a motion.
I'll move it.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Well, that's good, we have a contract now.
Excellent. We did it before the other one, you know.
I'm on retro.
Well, that's,
A retro.
Think of what the time saving
Well,
that
that's a huge
is.
time
It's a ridiculous,
It is.
I mean, that
Yeah, it
is
is.
tough.
It is.
it's a huge time saver for
Oh my
them, so.
gosh.
Okay,
When
there's
is
the next item is to discuss and approve financial policies. The one thing that we needed to do was, get a series of financial policies in place. Anna and I have been involved in that with the finance committee. And Sharon and, Sally and the office, you know, worked on these. We did have some, templates to work from our, auditors. So there's a series of them here. There's a journal entry policy. And that's the first one I pulled up, so if you have any questions about that, now's the time, if not. Do you wanna approve these all as a whole, or do you wanna go through them one at a time?
I have one comment on one of them that I just realized, cause it opened in track changes, didn't get addressed, so there's one I'd like to make a suggestion
And
to,
we
otherwise.
can do that.
Can I
We'll
ask?
go one at a
One
time.
at a time then, okay.
We'll do them one at a time, okay.
So the journal
Where are
entry
they
one,
again? In the, wonder what folder?
Starting, they're in our packet, so. Under,
it's just,
I'm sorry.
these are the things that had to be in place in writing. I mean, we're doing all these things. But they need to be in writing, to keep everybody happy, including the comptroller.
We're still working on one, the asset management.
There's an asset management one that we're still hanging out there, so.
Yeah. We'll keep it that one.
Mhm.
So if there's any questions on journal entry policy?
can I go back? I don't have any questions on it. Oops.
Just try going to the drive. I might go with that.
Oh, that, okay, sorry.
Journal entry 60.
I'm trying to number them.
Okay, which I realized when I threw the one thing in there that, like later I realized I screwed that up because that is how I organize my stuff is with like that. I think it's
It's a lot
very
easier.
good.
Mhm.
Yes,
Can't
when
find
you
it?
open it up, it opens in order, you have your reports. I mean, it's amazing.
It's a lot easier.
That was fantastic.
What?
The way that Sally numbered everything in the drive so that it was in an order that corresponds to the journal, the agenda.
That's okay.
Oh, maybe I'd bring my computer instead of my remarkable.
Well, you probably don't need it for that, but this was helpful.
So anyways, the next one is the cash receipt. Oh, wait a minute.
We gotta approve the journal.
Approve the journal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, cash receipts policy.
That would be 6D also. I don't have any questions about this one. I think it's solid.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, all in favor, I need a motion.
So moved. Second?
Second,
Yes.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed?
I got to hear me.
Okay, there's a bank reconciliation policy.
Yep, I like this one too.
We modified that one.
We did.
Any questions?
Nope, that one's good to me.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, fund balance policy.
So I had one question on the. I mean, does the state, I just know just from the school, the state had a standard that we had to meet. 5% was the maximum supposedly. No, they did not, 5%, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I'm not advocating for because and they didn't enforce it, but if you were in good faith following it, it could come back to bite you and in fact did.
Right.
So, but I was just curious if there's a state, just
They
based
have
on
some
that
general
experience.
guidelines, just like they do for the school. They have general guidelines for life, I think.
Okay, but not a thing where there's a penalty. I mean, basically for the schools, they would, they tried to talk a good game, but
I don't think there's a penalty.
There's
they,
not a
they
penalty.
have a recommendation.
Yeah.
Is that
10
what
to
it is?
20%.
And that's why we,
than 5.
Yes.
Well-
tells you.
Makes, yeah,
but, the way things are, we need to keep it
no, I just
at a
curious.
higher end.
Sure.
And
Yes.
so the idea is to evaluate it every year
Sounds
Right.
good.
and to understand where we're at with it, to make sure we're not hurting ourselves
Right,
and protecting ourselves. That kind of,
but we also have to make sure it doesn't get too big.
No,
because that
but
hurts
we have,
people
we,
too.
the funds are also, some of it isn't there just for, anything you wanna do with it.
Oh, right, they all have
It's
strings
encumbered.
attached,
Some are
everything has
encumbered, some aren't,
a lot of
aren't
strings
encumbered,
attached,
so.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's the unencumbered stuff that,
Not like a
they
big
get
fat
ornery
checkbook.
about,
right.
so.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I think I left the budget policy last because Anna didn't think something got changed.
I also just want to have a point, in the rec agreement, we have a specific date in there of April 10th.
That's a really good point.
So, I mean, if this is what
What
we,
do you mean an April 10th date?
that we would have our budget number for the rec, for the town. Our pretty firm budget number for rec, for the town's
So we could probably
purposes.
do something like that. I mean,
I just wanna make sure we're doing our best. If we
Well-
can't do that, I would rather like amend the rec agreement to have a more realistic date in it than,
Well, so,
I don't,
It's kind of.
my problem is that I don't want the town telling us when we're gonna do our budget.
right,
And-
but the whole cooperative agreement we have is that they would be able to approve it, even though I know your feeling about that, but that is their process. At their monthly meeting in April. Did not happen this year, as we all know. They did it.
I think that we can have something available for them by their monthly meeting.
Okay,
can I ask a clarification
Sure.
question? So they want a preliminary budget number, not a tentative, because they would have a tentative budget number by that point, according to this calendar. So is it the preliminary number that they're hoping for?
is that define those to me.
Right.
I
Well,
mean-
because tentative is the first budget that the budget officer submits after speaking with the department heads and addressing their
Mhm.
requests. And then the preliminary budget is the budget that that the budget officer
Adjusted.
produces in response to the first couple of our work sessions. And that's the budget that usually goes to the public hearing.
Mhm.
So is it the preliminary budget that they're
I
hoping
would say the
for April
preliminary,
10th?
yeah, the preliminary.
So
But that handicaps us.
that does handicap us.
Well,
I-
So, but I think if we have a preliminary budget, well, if we have a tentative budget to give them,
So if we don't think about this year and we think about the year before, I think we had the preliminary budget number by that date. We met earlier.
Well, this is gonna define when we're meeting and
Right,
how we're meeting.
Right, but
And I will be able to give them what we have on those dates.
okay, I mean, no, I just wanna be upfront about that,
Let's
not
see how
have it
that,
be
let's see
like
how that
11th
works out
hour.
for the next year.
Okay, I mean,
Because you know.
let's see how it goes, and we will be telling them upfront, this is what our schedule is.
Yeah.
And we'll see where we go, but
If, you know,
it felt a little more like this year that we didn't know, and it just kind of got away from us before, that date got away from us, so.
well,
I feel like we can
and-
be,
and the year prior, we had meetings
correct,
earlier.
correct, so it was a little, that's why,
Well,
that's
you know,
probably
I-
what led us to put that date
That
in
is
there,
absolutely why we did.
because it
I
had
think
been,
we'll be starting earlier for that kind of stuff, and things will be produced based on this schedule.
okay. Well,
So I
we'll
think
see
you'll have
what we can
a
do.
lot more information for them by then,
Well, that can be the goal.
so.
Um,
So what was
the
the,
fourth bullet point under budget process, I think we need to change that to say by the third Wednesday, not between the second and third Wednesday. Because in theory, we could, to the point discussion we just had, we could technically approve a preliminary budget before the second, on or before the second Wednesday, like that
Don't
could
handcuff
happen.
yourself, right? on
Right,
the
so, we don't wanna have to do it in that 1 week. The tentative comes out March 20th. We have until the third Wednesday of April to
Well,
approve it.
those were the notes that.
Yeah,
we
that-
had,
that's what
so
we, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't get
it didn't get
changed.
changed.
So if we would just wanna note that we'll approve it with that change, and there's a comma, a space between.
Did we go off,
Oh, okay.
this past year or the year prior
We,
in terms of?
we.
We just looked at how it should be.
And
And we
then-
looked at the NICOM, proposed schedule, so, and then we looked at our process, we sort of counted weeks, counted backwards. And tailored the process to match generally what we do in practice, but trying to make sure there's enough room between dates. For all of us to do all of the work we have to do for the process. But we use NICOM states as a rough guide to, they have some stuff we didn't put in here.
Okay,
And then you had a comment about the budget transfer request form being attached. I
Yeah.
don't know that that's necessary, but if it would make you feel better, we
Well, I
should
just,
could.
well, I'm just saying, if we don't have one, if we're saying there is one.
We're
we
gonna have to
should-
create
we're
one.
gonna have to
Yeah,
create one.
absolutely.
Okay.
That would,
that-
that would be a really
Yeah.
good change.
Okay. Great. Those were my comments, so I'm
Okay.
good with that in
so
mind.
with those changes,
So moved.
Second,
all in favor,
Aye.
any opposed? Does that do all the policies?
I think so. yeah,
Had 5 of them, right? There's
Yep.
one more we're working on that
Yeah.
is not as a giant, well, it's gonna be a giant problem. but-
Yeah.
Our NICOM lady would be proud of me.
she would.
Uh-huh.
She would be so proud. You're reviewing that? Very good.
Okay, the next item, discuss using B and L for study of water supply for the EDF solar project. I did get finally got a proposal,
Mhm.
from, B and L. To do the kind of work that we're interested in for the EDF project,
Mhm.
that has been circulated to you. Um. Any comment from you? I know you read through it this morning.
read
and you
through
and I
it,
talked a
And
little
we
bit,
talked
but-
about it. Yeah, I think this is, in line with what we sort of
We need.
expected. It doesn't include any design.
Right, right.
It's, it's a study for what we need.
It's to evaluate our water system and perform, some hydraulic modeling to determine available flows and identify system improvements that could be made
Right.
to help improve, fire flows as needed.
Yep.
If there's a problem up there,
Yeah,
I think we need to, approve moving forward with this, but the idea is that, we're going to apply for, intervenor funds to fund this.
right.
And that lines up with comments that I made, and I know, Bill made at the public hearing,
Yes.
so. If, you've had a chance to review that, I would like to move forward with, engaging them so that we can apply for intervenor funds to do that.
Well, I think
I
Do
think
we
it's,
have to engage them first?
I gotta see whether the cart goes before the horse or
Yeah.
which way,
Right.
but,
Mhm.
with your
Mhm.
approval, I'm gonna pursue it with
Figure that
Bill.
out.
Well, this is one of the most important pieces for us, right? Or
Yes.
is the top priority?
It's one of the
right?
top priorities, yeah.
So,
That
and-
fire protection and water supply are two very important pieces, so.
It has to be done.
Yeah,
So I
so,
think it has to be done.
Has to be done.
I, in some ways, I would say that I think it should be done whether we get intervenor funds or not,
Yeah, I mean, I
um,
think it has to be done.
but, let's see what Bill has to say. We can
Yeah.
always come back to this.
Right.
so we're gonna, how do you want us to move? Like, for you to take those steps?
My next steps, I don't think I need a approval, just consensus that, we're gonna approach Bill, have him,
Yes.
apply for intervenor funds.
Yes,
Approving of a contract would come, if we have it funded.
Got it.
Okay?
that's perfect.
Next item is F. We are not going to do that.
Cross it off, baby.
Well, the date of this meeting and the bills that were produced,
We have 4 bills.
there's only 4 bills sitting there. We're not gonna fool around with it. We're good.
Okay.
Excellent day.
So we don't need an end of the year meeting. Next item is
Darn,
to,
not another meeting.
I know,
Devastated.
your heart is broken.
Sorely disappointed.
Next item is to approve the search for a police officer. We do have a vacancy and I need approval to, do that search. There was, we have been looking at, the civil service list and, we have talked to an individual. We did interview an individual, but, part of the process includes approval to do a search.
Mhm.
So I need your
So
approval.
moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is to accept the resignation of our treasurer Sharon Brunette. Unfortunately, she has resigned. She's moving on to bigger opportunities. Her and her husband bought a business,
That's exciting.
so it's gonna take all of her time and energy.
It's funny that it says accept, because can you like not accept?
Right.
Like really? Is there another
It's
option?
kind of, it's kind of formality
I
that
guess
we do
it
that.
has no effect
It
on the
it
end
has,
result.
no, in the end,
Sorry.
she's resigned and that's it, but
Yeah.
this kind of makes it,
Official.
official. You can't reject it and say, no, you gotta get to work here.
It's more like acknowledge the resignation as opposed to,
Is that what you would prefer?
well, words matter.
Change can happen.
I like
need a-
acknowledge.
I need a motion.
So moved. To acknowledge the resignation. That was coming, come on.
There was another person that sat in your spot that would do that to me once in a while. All in favor?
We
I,
need a second.
I'll second
Oh,
it.
second.
Yeah, with thanks to Sharon for all her hard work.
Yes, absolutely.
We are going to, take a step back for, about a month and, decide where we're headed. This is very sudden. We have to have time to digest. Thank you. The next item, we will acknowledge the resignation
say, wow, you are a fast learner.
of Desiree, from the Housing Authority. She was up for reappointment. She chose not to continue. Now, that being said, I do need,
Names.
I need a name. So if anyone has any ideas who would be appropriate for the housing authority. I could use a name that we could approach. You gotta look on your face.
I was gonna say, we have to acknowledge the fact that she's like resigned first.
Yeah, so, but, you know, along with that, we have to find a name, so.
I just wanted to say that she's been pivotal in helping move the housing authority forward. So much appreciation, Jeffrey.
Absolutely. They've worked hard. She came in along with several others in a difficult time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a good
Powered
job.
through. And made a huge difference, so. Much gratitude towards her.
So,
I'll move it.
I'll move the
I'll second
acknowledgement.
I'll move the acknowledgement. See?
Second.
Change is not hard.
I got it, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And be on the lookout, please.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
do need another person, so. Next item was the water and sewer rates. We have, we're gonna have to do something with our water and sewer rates. We've been talking about it. Anna's done some work with, well, I know, John, I know you were involved in some of it. And Tim's been working on it. With what's going on with our projects that are coming, we know that, our rates are low. And, you know, kind of a double-edged sword, you know, we try to do the best we can with our rates for our community.
Mhm.
But at the same time, every time we try to get help to pay for this stuff. Well, your rates are too low. You need to be charging more for your water
Yeah,
and sewer.
yeah.
So, with the projects coming up, we're concerned about, you know, the shock and that, you know, we need to start making adjustments now.
Does the state provide any guidance on setting the rates, like, or like a regional scale?
Yeah,
Or
how are we
any
with
kind of,
others?
any
try-
kind of benchmark you
We
could
try to
say?
get that kind of information and it's very hard to come by.
It is,
They're happy to tell you that your rates are too low.
right,
But
but they
not
don't tell
like,
you what they
Here's a
think they
chart,
should be.
here's a chart of
Here's
your
a
county,
chart,
Right.
yeah,
or
no.
So do we
region.
know like what Potsdam's are? Or like
Mm.
regionally, Potsdam, Messina? And
There's two things.
Well,
Potsdam uses an EDU model.
Okay.
All of our estimates for our sewer projects or water projects, they convert everything we do to an EDU model.
mhm,
So they're always talking in terms of EDUs. Along with this, we're gonna explore that model.
mhm.
I remember
Several
talking about this,
people,
Yeah, we're working. on
Development
it.
Authority has told us that's the way that water billing should be done.
Mhm,
So we're gonna explore that, and that's part of the process. Anna's already started to work,
mhm.
with John and looking at, you know, how we can approach this. But these projects have to be paid for, and that's the bottom line. You know, we're doing our best to find grants and low interest, or zero interest loans. And we've been very successful at that, but in the end, we also have to pay for it. So, you wrote this piece.
I did. I mean, yes to everything you just said. I mean, I really think, you know, we're working on exploring the EDU. Is that really, you know, the way, as Dank says, to do it? But we just haven't had enough time to get through that for this year. And given that we know that, you know, we're underway with a $13.5 million project now, and we have some idea of what we need to raise rates to cover debt service for that, it seems foolish to wait until the project's done to say, okay, here's the number, right? You need to try to address this more gradually, allow folks, you know, the time to absorb it.
Mhm.
So we're proposing to raise sewer rates 12%. Because, we're looking at, depending, of course, this depends on all the grant money that we get in, but based on project costs right now, it looks like we're gonna need a total of 30% increase just for the wastewater treatment plant project
30% over time, like,
to cover the debt
To cover
service
the-
for what
That-
we,
That's the
the
end
end,
point.
that's
The
the
end
end
point.
point
It would be.
From where we are now.
from where we are now.
sure, no, I understand. that.
So
But how-
And that's just sewer, not, the water projects are an additional large number, right? But we're still in the planning phase, so it seems like it makes sense to, you know, sort of proportionally raise water rates as well and raise them at 12%.
So we're trying to potentially, like, gradually do this over a 3-year period, potentially. or-
Two,
2 to 3
probably
years.
the sewer would be 2, and then we'll have to make further decisions based on what's coming down the road in terms of the water projects. So,
Yeah, the villages, I mean, this is, the timing of this with the school budget is tough.
yeah, so, I mean,
That's-
there's a lot of numbers on a lot of different reports, and, you know, we're still digging around, but, you know, the vast majority of our users are in the 0 to 50,000 gallon range, and this would be about $1.76 per 1,000 gallons of an increase. You know, a total minimum, a total quarterly minimum bill, which we have like 13% of our people use, is going to increase by less than $3 a month. So.
I think that if
it's-
if we can put those numbers out there.
As opposed to the
As the
percentage.
floors-
The percentage seems high.
It is.
$3 doesn't seem high.
Right,
Right.
right.
I know you have to report the
But
percentage.
I mean,
You have to report it, but
especially because we need people to understand that this is, you know, this is a conservative amount this year because we are really have a bigger gap.
Mhm.
Right, so I think that $3 a month or whatever that is, that's like, I don't know. Is it $40, is it even $40 a year?
Well, I mean, I think it's also
Right.
important too, we don't mislead people, and I
Right.
think it's
Right.
important we say 12% because everybody's bill is different, so if you say
Exactly.
the average bill is only gonna go up $3 and then
people
a
don't know if they're
commercial
average or
And
not.
some
customer
of our
reads
folks
that
are
and
gonna
says, my
go
bill
up a
went up
lot more.
$100, well,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't wanna mislead people, I think you just should say the 12%, I know that's
But, and give an
scary, but it's
example.
gonna be relatable to what you know your
Yeah.
bill
Right,
is. so.
And-
but give an example. So if
I
you're,
think give an example.
Yeah, give an example.
so if you have like, mine's usually 12,000 gallons, you know, so if I just say, so for a, whatever, $15,000, $12,000 gallon bill, this is what that translates into
Right.
dollars.
right.
I think
that-
if we give an example that
Yeah.
contextualizes it, because I'm telling you, the budget for I'm just holistically thinking of the community, and I know that the school budget has nothing to do with us. But in terms of hitting people with these kinds of numbers, the school budget, it was one of the highest in the state.
Increases this year.
Increases for this year, and a 12% increase is a big number.
Mhm.
For people to first hear. So I think contextualizing it is really incredibly important.
Mhm.
I think that's
Well, we
my
can,
opinion.
yeah, I mean, we can definitely try to add some more examples, maybe even at some different, you know, different
If you have
levels.
an
I
8,000
mean,
gallons,
really,
yeah,
the
50,
reality
yeah.
is the vast majority of our users are at the lowest level. So the vast majority of people are going to see a relatively small increase. There are going to be those that, for whom that is
Sure.
not the case.
Sure.
Um,
And I get that, but
but we can think about how we communicate that to make it sort of clear, because math is hard and it's not
Well,
always obvious
No,
what we
I mean,
need.
think about it.
12%
If-
sounds like
if
a lot.
my-
it does.
You know, maybe I don't know what my last bill, I think it's under $200 a quarter, right? So that's
Yeah,
$800 a year, so 12% on $800 versus my school tax bill.
Right.
And
Which is
back to
thousands.
back, cause
Yeah.
this is going in the paper tomorrow.
Well, I know,
So-
but you're talking about a percentage on a much bigger number.
Sure.
Yep.
I mean, the percentage matters, but you know, it also matters what it's a percentage of.
Of course,
Exactly.
of course.
Yeah,
And
so
perhaps,
present it as many ways as you
Right.
can.
Maybe, right, so we can refine the message as best as we can to do that, to present all it as clearly as possible so people can see it, because what we have to do is set a public hearing, yes?
Yes,
So,
Before we raise the rates, right?
yeah,
Yes.
so, you know, the conversation here is about, you know, starting down the path.
Mhm.
This would mean then that we would set a public hearing for our next monthly meeting, and we would discuss, you know, the details of what that kind of a rate increase would mean. At the same time, when you flush your toilet, it's gotta go. somewhere.
and I am
And-
not
and-
disputing that.
No, just let me, I'm not accusing anybody of that, but I think that that's what our community needs to understand.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, the things that you don't see are a very important part of our community. And, we have examples right now of infrastructure that is a problem just on Riverside Drive.
Just on Riverside Drive.
And, it costs money to fix these things.
Yeah.
And make them run right. And, we're at the point in time where unfortunately we have to spend, it's a $13.5 million project. And, to make things continue to work, and we're gonna do the best we can to be as efficient as we can, but, the rates have to-
Unfortunately, it's not rewarded to be proactive, right? So
that's the other
we
problem.
have to, we're sort of like, we know that if we don't do some of these projects, we could be in a much worse position
Right.
at any time. And so,
Unfortunately, communities that have consent decrees issued make out better with funding. And we don't have a consent decree about this.
So I don't think that when people understand that the infrastructure is super important, and nobody's gonna dispute sewer for sure. Water and sewer is critical. My concern was the initial reaction to 12%. And I think contextualizing it is a big deal. That was my concern. I am
No,
fully
absolutely.
supportive
right.
of us paying
You know,
for it
and
and
that's-
We
getting
can
it
put the
done.
12% at the bottom and put the other examples above it, so they're read first. We
Whatever.
can do things like that.
I just think,
Yeah.
I just think
If
it
you,
makes sense.
if you lead with the 12%, that's what people, they never
Sure,
get past.
I
that.
know.
Right.
So there will be public notice.
Yep.
And there'll be a public hearing. We'll schedule that for, next month.
Yep.
I think we'll probably give it a little more time than 5 minutes.
And maybe everybody will be fine with it.
Well,
Who knows?
Well, and
what
it's
time
still,
would you like to, set that for next month?
Well, do we want 6:15? Do you want 15
Well, I
minutes,
just,
20 minutes? I don't know.
Leaving it to you.
I don't know, these things are so hard to tell, what
Well,
is
let's
gonna
say
get a crowd
6:15.
and what is not,
Let's say 6:15
Okay,
and,
If it goes over, it goes over.
Goes as long as.
right,
it
we'll
goes.
start the meeting.
on what date?
We're meeting on the 20th in June, which
We
is a
are?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Juneteenth is a holiday.
Okay,
Oh,
so that is.
well
the-
then, that was really important information, because it's on the 19th in my
June 20th
calendar.
is our-
Actual.
Well,
The
monthly meeting,
recurring,
yes.
Yeah,
you know?
recurring.
On a
Yeah.
Thursday?
So here's
Because
the
June
plan.
19th
We'll
is a
do a public
holiday.
hearing on
So
that,
the office is
I'm
on.
Okay.
sorry, yes.
and the write-up will reflect what we're trying to, the message we're sending.
Yep.
And Anna's tweaking.
We'll
that.
wordsmith that a little.
Thank you.
You're
And I
welcome.
appreciate the work.
Well, and everybody in the village has a water bill, right? So it's something everybody's gonna contribute towards and,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is based on usage still, and
It's-
people have the right to look
Yes.
at ways to reduce,
Well, here's
reduce
the
your
other
water.
thing, here's the other thing. There's really a fixed cost for us to provide service
Yeah,
to every piece of property here. And that's where the EDU comes in.
yes.
That it defines the fixed cost.
Mhm.
And then other places charge for the specific
Mhm.
water used by the
Mhm.
1,000.
Mhm.
Every year we hear from people that, I only used 4,000 gallons this quarter.
Mhm.
I want credit for 1,000.
Mhm.
Well, I get that. They conserved or whatever they did.
Mhm.
They took a 3-week vacation.
Well, yeah, we have people that, call us to turn their water off so they don't get a bill at all. For 6 months at a crack.
Mhm.
But that service is still there. We still have to maintain it. The corporation's still there. So,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
there's a cost involved in that service. So
yeah.
there's a lot of pros and cons to going to an EDU system, so. That's being explored. That's a whole nother. piece
Well,
to the-
exactly,
That's a
and-
whole other piece to the puzzle.
And doing this now, keeps us from having to raise perhaps a much larger number later. Right, while we go through and can make an informed, shall we say, decision about whether we wanna move to EDUs or not.
Mhm.
That is one of the things the infrastructure committee will keep on working
Very good, okay, next joint meeting. The town has requested that we move it to June 26th from July.
So that's the week after our own meeting, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And that one, yeah.
I am unavailable and out of town, so I cannot make the meeting.
Wonder if I can be out of town. Don't put that down.
Mayor wants to be out of town.
Mayor will be gone.
Investigating trips as we speak.
Mayor,
Checking flights.
Mayor was surfing the United site.
Looking for destinations.
At any rate, she asked that we move it to that. It is on the town to put the agenda together. You know, she may have told me why she wanted to move it forward. I just can't remember right now.
I
You know
mean,
what?
The July.
people probably want their July off, right? I mean, that's probably.
works for
about
me.
I mean, it doesn't,
Maybe I go see the kids again.
right, I think either way, it doesn't really matter to me.
What time? I don't care.
I think we normally do 6 o'clock.
We normally do
with the
6,
town, yeah.
yeah.
So I will tell her that we approve doing that.
In my
Everybody-
calendar now.
Yeah. And that is on the Wednesday, not
Yes.
Thursday.
Okay,
is on
Screw me.
get your
Wednesday.
days straight.
Try.
Alright, so the 26th versus the Thursday prior is ours, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, so screw that. up.
Okay, moving right along. Public comment. Anybody have any public comment? Public comment? Public comment. I'll get that out.
I was gonna say, how many times are we asked?
Okay, with that being said, I need a motion to go into executive session concerning the purchase of property.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, everybody, for coming. Were you looking for me earlier, Lee? Okay,
Oh, early in the day,
yeah,
I was, yeah.
everything okay?
Yes.
She might not want to talk about it in a public meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Mayor, do you have to do that resolution?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
One thing we forgot.
Do we have to come out of executive
Yes.
session?
So moved.
A second.
Aye.
We gotta do this resolution for the retirement system.
Yes,
What do you want to say?
I want to say somebody approves this resolution for
So-
standard workday reporting.
So moved.
All
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you can abstain. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Now, I need a motion to go into executive session.
So
So,
moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, this got
Yeah.
confused.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Cindy.
Good night, everyone.